Savage Sports get a knock, right? Torre Ahumada is where the flight path starts from downtown towards the area of Los Leones. That means El Pozo, Credit gonna be the tough task for them. A daunting one to be more precise. We have everyone completely jam-packed in the lobby. But what a game. Want to talk more about how the 26 finishes game happened for Savage Esports. We have seen a lot of teams that tried to make a rotation, and this is not the first time that we are witnessing any team trying to dominate this sort of circle. But this was not the team that was supposed to be at the position. They paved their way, and they just not only came in, they made sure that they got all these finish. And for the moment, it's Savage Esports going towards the northern side of water treatment. I guess they might go towards the area of La Cobreria. El Hazard is where 7 Cs are jumping towards. A long glide for a lot of team. Chumacera, Minas, Ladrilla, Montenevo. All these areas are those comfortable position for a lot of teams. But I expect we might just get to see somewhere down the line on Hacian del Petron or Los Leones that we can expect. But Circle has just been the rough touch for today. The first game we just saw, there is certain love of Circle with water this season, I'm telling you, Gordon.
True, very true, very true, and it definitely does count, because that is what makes the game that much more exciting and exhilarating to watch and cast as well. On the other front, as you talk about the zone, right, I would love to see it. It rarely happens, seldom ever have I seen a zone go all the way down towards the prison island, but I would love to see if that sort of a hard shift could be showcased from this zone. But again, like I said, it's like a 0.5% probability of that happening. On the other front, as you were discussing about Savage, yep, they've taken those vehicles and gone all the way north towards La Cabrera, so they are going to have to make a pretty long rotation for their side. And from the north, as you move on down to the extreme southern side, we do have Venom Legends players towards Impala, and along with that, Noob Alliance. Here they are moving on along with a pretty decent approach and a pretty good loot, I would say, for the first 2 minutes itself. And of course, as the game progresses on along, they're going to be wanting to get the better half of these fights in this match number 2. But again, this is something that has been part of the conversation for so many casters of PUBG Mobile, right? When you're on the map of Miramar, when you've got a vehicle, you want to be able to get at least 2 to 3 vehicles rather than having all 4 players just bulged up in one. But again, this is just the first 2 to 3 minutes, so nothing given away from the side of Noob Alliance, but hopefully they are able to get a better vehicle for themselves. On the other front, as you move on down towards the Real Soldiers players, Killer YT moving on along with well, again, I mean, he's got a level 3 backpack, so that's good, but no gun, nothing too good for him. But of course, as he progresses on along, he will definitely find it. In the water treatment region, he finds himself. His teammates, I did not see in the mini-map, but again, he is 1,500 meters, and that is going to be a casual approach for so many of the teams, because the zone is so extreme southwest. So for so many teams, the zone is definitely going to be a bit of a cause for concern, so to say, if they don't start making that rotation a bit early. On the other front, as the day started off, I was talking about the Gurkhas right here to RGR. This team, I had high anticipations. I still do have high anticipations from this team, but let's see if Miramar is going to be the map for them or not.
Definitely. Last time, I guess this was one of those teams that really have the problem to make a move onto the southern island, because they were just stuck. And once, so you have only 2 ways. If you're not taking waterways, you have only 2 landways. You have the Novo Ripnoy Bridge or the military base. That was the game and the storyline of Erangel, where they actually drastically failed. But I guess once they make a move, they have a real good time for the moment. It's Ryu. Everyone just spread out, and as you perfectly mentioned, as you perfectly advised, everyone needs to be separated. I guess it was just the swag of that golden Mirado that made the players be sitting in the same vehicle. Apart from that, I don't see any other reason, Lauda.
Dude, look at the distance. 4,100 meters away from the zone X Brothers find themselves right here.
Are
again,
they
the loot.
the map? Oh, Campo
I mean,
Militar. Yes, there is a city.
this is
I
they're on the
remember.
northeastern side. Yep, exactly.
Yes.
And they're all by themselves, so the loot is definitely going to be working for them. No other team around them to contest for any of that loot. But again, they better find a vehicle and start making that rotation. It's yes, only 5 minutes into the game, but
Oh, yes.
being that further out, I mean, it's like
No.
two edges, right? I
Yeah,
mean,
yeah,
on
yeah.
one southwestern edge is the zone, and they are on the northeastern edge. So they're gonna have to cross the entire map, X Brothers, to get into the comfort of the zone. And as they do so, if they're not quick enough, why am I saying again and again in the first 5 minutes itself that these teams should start thinking about rotation? Because if they start delaying that, yes, the zone will catch up to you, the blue zone will catch up to you, you will be given a little bit of damage, not a lot, so that's okay. But as you start making that late rotation, the other teams then
Oh,
can
yes.
become that much more of a trouble for you as you try and get into the zone. The teams that are already in the comfort of that zone will try and take that fight to your face, and that is where you wanted to start your game with a decent good loot, but your game would have ended drastically. And yeah, that's the main thing. I mean, moving on away from that rotation-based conversation, we do have the gangsters right here who are going to be looking pretty neat as well. So again, in the map of Miramar, we do know that a lot of shots, a lot of mini action can very well be seen. But along with that, we shall see what sort of bolt action will we see, or rather from what team and what player can we see that? Because S9, you talk about S9 and the way they have their wonderful prowess on towards the gun of bolt action guns, right? I mean, they are pretty good in terms of those head cracking shots. But let's see which team will be giving us those phenomenal plays today.
If I'm not wrong, Mongolian players and Mongol teams in particular are pretty much good with their bolt actions. Be it
True.
not only just about these bolt actions. You have all these DMRs also coming up into the favor. We talk about the mini and all these times SKS, SLR. They are pretty good to them, and this is something that happens in the game in the map of Miramar and Erangel. When we go onto the map of Sarok, there are also some exclusive weapon onto them, and they really have a good shot onto those weapons. But for the moment, I really want the observers to have a keen eye and want you to show us the minimap that where the teams are actually positioned. I really want to see how Savage Esports are going to make a move into the circle, because they went towards that La Cobrity area where they really had to make a tricky situation, tricky rotation, because the western side is completely full of a lot of terrains, and that offers a lot of resistance to them. And for the moment, we might get to see some sort of contestation that can happen, but we'll be in a better position to actually predict where the teams are actually positioned once we get to see the minimap.
Well, we definitely will in a few minutes' time. On the other front, as we talk about Seal 9, a first game not working in their favor, but right here they find themselves in towards the Chumasera region, and they have the crosshairs set up towards the players of 2R, and that is going to be the team of Gurkhas, as we did discuss earlier as well. And this is where it is going to be Yetta, who is going to be in a little bit of a tricky position, because yes, he's got the mini working in his favor, but he also has given away his information, and Seal 9 have already taken a few shots on the other side onto the blue zone. We do have X Brothers and 7C catching each other out into that rotation that we had spoken about earlier.
1700 meters. Is it even this fight helping them out? Is it profitable? X Brothers,
Well,
7Cs going up against each other in the map of Miramar. 700 meter eventually becomes 3000 meter if you are not just well traversed with the terrains, because the terrains that actually offers you a lot of resistance. And there we have it. Elite, once he tries to make a move out of his buggy, he gets a lot of shots from the back end side. 1900 meter for X Brothers and 17 to 1800 meter for 7Cs. Not in a good situation, to be honest, brother.
Definitely, and that is something that, of course, we can see X Brothers have been able to capitalize upon, and they are going to be moving away from that position. So that's going to be GG approach being showcased from the side of this team. But is that going to be allowed by 7C's players? Because again, you talk about X Brothers, they are fanned out, whereas 7C's players, they are very, very close. On the other side, first blood coming in from the side of X Brothers, where 7C's player has been confirmed killed, and that is going to be, I think, Theo, who was brought down to his knees. Yep, Theo from the side of 7C has been eliminated, and the 7C now going to try. They're definitely going to try and get that kill confirmed for themselves and get that revenge going for themselves. But sadly, 7C will not be allowed that. And as so perfectly mentioned by you, mate, the fight started, they were like, what, 1400 meters away, and now they're almost 3000 meters away from the zone.
Circle has shifted.
Exactly,
Gone
right?
away
So
completely.
a tough luck situation for the side of 7C, whereas X Brothers definitely walking away with that one elimination, going to be working in their favor, and they still have all 4 players alive.
So if you say no to a circle, circle will definitely say a big no to on your face, and that's the reason
Yep.
that 1700 meter has certainly increased at just 1000 meter more, 2800 meter not going to be easy task. But that was the team that were out in the blue. We have certain teams that have made quick rotations. Paradox, a new Paradox, completely transformed one. We just got to see the very first half of the game. Unfortunately, that was just not the game that they were looking for. Some random shifts here and there, and a lot of teams, not only Paradox, a lot of teams that really find themselves in a debris, 6 feet down under. But as soon as I said that, it seemed like TRZ are just adding some masala to all these fights. Jan Mara are set upon onto their Corsair, and Snipe Whitey goes down. We have Mad Cat, Rare FPS, and Mamba, STFU2. Mamba, I remember this lad, this particular lad, really impressed us a lot when he played the last time, the national championship that I and you both casted, if you remember. Mamba was the one find out. And for one moment, he moved to Venom Legends for the last PMPL, but then again back to his own hut, to his own home place, to his own team where he belonged to. And I guess this is from where TRZ are going to have a long leap.
Well, we'll see. We'll see if that will be the case or
I
not. Because
hope.
again, right, they're going against Janmara. So again, talk about Janmara as well. This team is also a pretty ferocious team to go up against. But right now in this fight, I have to give it to you. I mean, TRZ are looking in a better approach because they have that terrain advantage, right? The height advantage working in their favor. And on the other side, for Janmara, it is just a downward slope fight for their side. So they are definitely going to have to get away from that. And Gunner seems to be giving away a lot of information, and it's going to be Red FPS who will try and get that fight to the face of Gunner, where Gunner's approach is to try and get his teammate revived. But will Rare FPS give that possibility, will allow that or not? Because we can see Mamba cooking a nade is going to try and take the fight to the face of Janmara. And again, this is not looking good for Janmara's players, because they are downward slope fight is what this has turned out to be against them. But again, I mean, an aggressive stance is what we can definitely anticipate from the side of Janmara as well.
One thing Gunner is doing correctly is he's just trying to smoke out the areas. But TRZ Sports, they are pretty much on a contested, where they're just finding themselves in the position. But as soon as we said that, that revival was always a risky one. Snipe White going down, Gunner going down on a slope. That's not the way you go for the revival. That's basic. That's just basic. But they are just lacking out of it. Eventually saving, in the course of saving one player, loses two, and Jan Mara, I guess they are just down to 2 players surviving. And the backdrop we can get to see Soulless, and Suzanne has came in joining the fray, but I guess it's pretty late.
Well, this is not looking good for the side of Janmara as far as this Miramar map is concerned. On the other side, as we talk about the zone itself, it seems like DRS are finding themselves on towards those mountainous regions all by themselves towards the northwestern side of the zone. So that's going to be working GG in terms of their favor. On the other side, X Brothers and 7C we can see making a rush to get into the zone from the eastern front, and it is going to be quite a lot of teams who find themselves down towards the southern part of the zone as well, where we do have the team of Gurkhas that is going to be 2RGR very close to Seal 9 as well. And as they make that rush and push to get into the center of the zone, we do have TRZ's players as well in the blue. So quite a lot of fights taking place, and of course we can clearly see that Savage is also now getting into the fight. We can see onto the Paraboy, right? That is exactly where it is. I think that is what it is. What the player is. Paradox's players are very close to Savage Esports as well. And so that is a fight that Paradox will have to be very cautious of if they get into it.
No, definitely.
Ouch.
Paradox.
Just
Two players, one single spray. Savage Esports again trying to replicate the same thing, just trying to flush things off with the help of this grenade. And look at the speed with which Hershey is just moving in. That's just the confidence. That's sheer confidence brought from the last match that Hershey had. And now, one defeat onto the name. I guess the second one will also be secured. But I guess that has been already stolen from some different teams, because a lot of teams hovering around the same vicinity. And not only Savage Esports, DRS, the team that really had a good position before the circle made a shift on the northwestern side, are also coming up into the fight. But DRS also getting a lot of banger from different directions. Hustler also coming up into the fight. Kings of BD trying to make a most of the situation. They are again facing a lot of trouble issues into this fight.
They definitely are. I mean, they are definitely going to try and get those points for themselves. And this is where the Naive Parade is not going to be able to help out because 7C's Memo had the better angle in that fight. And this is where his health is definitely going to go against him. But not yet. Not so easy because Vexy has been brought down to almost 15% health. Whereas 7C's Memo will be brought down thanks to Dictator. But he had a really good run. He definitely held on the fort for quite a long time. Memo from the side of 7C going up against all 4 players of Kings of BD, but it is what it is, and of course he will be brought down to his knees. Kings of BD get that elimination point for themselves, and as we push on along, it is going to be Savage Esports who find themselves in a very good vicinity, and right next to them is going to be Jaimana's 2 players. So Less and Sugan going to be making that rotation into the buggy, but out in the open this is not going to be good, but they make it. They made it. All right. So that worked for them, but now they've given away the information to Savage Esports as well.
Oh yes. They're just moving forward to it. But it's us who know that on the right hand side it's DRS already positioned, so Savage Esports just need to look onto the right hand side. And on the north side of the map, we have Elementrix going up against Paradox. The 2 left out there, Thorn and Ego also coming up into the fight. Down the X-Brothers players pretty badly for the moment. Now here Sus is pretty much not in the position. He needs to actually fire at least on a single other player, but he's making sure that if he does, he needs to make sure that his position doesn't get revealed. But Hershey, you better be prepared. Frypan takes him down. Savage Esports are just going all guns blazing unless it is some other team onto the face of it.
Well, let's see what sort of a fight is 7C going to be bringing to this game right here against the players of Savage Esports. Indeed, Hershey has been brought down to his knees, but that kill has not yet been confirmed. Frypan is still waiting to be able to get that kill confirmed because Savage Esports' players are definitely pushing on along, and Hustler, we can clearly see with the vehicle, is going to be able to get in there to get that revival to his teammate. And Hershey, they know, is a very crucial player that they want to be able to hold on to as long as they possibly can. On the other side, we do have Elementrix being eliminated thanks to Kings of BD as well as Paradox from the looks of it, and Venom Legends. Now a 4-man fanned out approach is what has been showcased from the side of Venom Legends. I did talk about this team in the previous game as well. I want to see a real good comeback from the side of Venom Legends. Nightwing Void, I mean, their synergy is so on point, but will that synergy be enough? Because Savage Esports' Suncheer, we can see, is going to be creating a flank angle from that right hand side, and that is definitely a GG approach being showcased from the side of Savage Esports. So again, synergy working in both these teams is going to be top notch, but who will get the better half of that fight? Who will get those nades exactly onto the opponent's head? That is where the conversation is. As of now, none of them have the better half in this fight.
Watch your back. Savage Esports from the front, it's Venom Legend, and on the back end side I can guess it's already Gianmara or some other teams that are already making it worse for Savage Esports to survive. On different side, it's Noob Alliance that slowly and steadily just falling things off. Out in the open, it's Ligro and Hershey just trying to create a flank. Venom Legends really have a good position at this moment. You can get to see Void along with Steel Shot really holding the sniper nest for the moment. And Savage Esports, I guess they really don't have any other option. And at any point in this game, the aggression can be defeated by just having a good position. And if that happens, Venom Legend has a real clear shot onto that. With that being said, it's Noob Alliance that really bid goodbye to this lobby, and we are just down to 13 teams where TRZ Esports, hold on, they're just moving up into the fight because they are just being slammed upon from 3-4 different directions. And as soon as I said that, Venom Legends are getting the better half of Savage Esports.
Well, this is looking like a very neat fight being showcased from the side of Venom Legends, and now they have the better half of this entire fight. They are going to be pushing along towards the player of Savage Esports as Hustler has been brought down to his knees. Just one man remaining from the side of Savage, it seems like, and this is not the kind of play that we anticipated from the side of Savage. My correction, there are 2 players still remaining from the side of Savage. That are going to be Suncheer and Hershey, 2 very crucial players, but all 4 members of Venom Legends are going to be pushing on along with those nade parades. This is looking like a downward fight for the side of Savage Esports. They tried to take the fight to the players of Venom Legends, but they have been caught off guard. And Venom Legends, they are in the run. They are definitely grinding it across. But before Harshay says goodbye, he wants to confirm that point, but he will not be allowed to do so. It is going to be Venom Legends walking away with all 4 players still remaining. That was a good fight. That definitely was a good fight. A good skill being showcased from the synergistic play of Venom Legends. And with that, Mamba also, I mean, TRZ, they were trying, but again, as you had said, they were being crushed from the side of Kings of BD from different approaches and different angles, so they did not hold on their fort for too long. But Venom Legends are very much looking alive with all 4 players still alive, and look at that zone. There is absolutely no team around them in their vicinity. So many teams are going to be making that rush into the zone itself, and C9 we can see are taking a fight against the players of the SI thing.
Definitely. Gremlin Storms wrapping up the fight. C9 Esports get eliminated. Just the 8 teams, 24 players alive in the lobby. We just saw where DRS Gaming are actually positioned just on the southwest side of the map. They really have a very good chance. If they play their cards really well, they can have the game in their hand. But for the moment, just the 2 players having immense pressure onto Kings of BD. It's Soulless and Suzanne. If you remember, Gunner and Snipe Whitey, they lost to these players in the very first half of the game. And since then, Mara has been completely quiet. They had to, that made real sense. But it seems that Gremlin Storms are just not able to hold their horses, as now Kings of BD from one direction and DRS Gaming from different directions are throwing a lot of bullets onto the heads. And if here Kings of BD falls down, in DRS Gaming, I guess no one will be able to stop, because they really have a good position. They have the numbers advantage. They have zone reading, everything going into the favor. I guess this is a DRS Gaming's game.
It should be, it could be, but the zone has moved away from them, and this is where things are not looking too good for the side of DRS. But once again, I mean, the thing that's working for them is the fact that you mentioned they are on top of that mountain. They have the information of the opponent teams, and that is something that is going to be so very critical in these final moments as they push on along. On the other side, Janmara's 2 players, as well as Soulless, they are bunkering down into this area, into this compound, and they do have the information of their opponent team. That's going to be DG right here. But will the fight be taking place? Will the kill be confirmed? Will the elimination point be given to Janmara? That is not looking likely. On the other side, DRS, they have a real good position, but Venom Legends are in a better part of this. Yep. Big threat, a 4v4.
Last time it was DRS Gaming and Savage. They lost the battle in 4-5 seconds. If DRS Gaming has to be victorious, they need to take the fight. They need to find themselves in a position where they can easily beat Venom Legends. And it seems that since Venom Legends are in a mixed state, 2 players holding the centralized position, it won't be a daunting task as much as we would have liked to see for DRS Gaming to make a move onto the edge of the circle, as Venom Legends is completely constricted upon the fights against either Kings of BD or Janmara, or the players that are trying to make a move into the zone, and they are not equally cautious about the right hand side team that is already positioned, known as DRS Gaming. But for the moment, it's Void that is just looking around. It seems that he has some senses. He is getting a lot of shots from the right hand side. And yes, he is moving. He is moving his crosshair to the right hand side. He is knowing that yes, someone is on the right hand side and needs to take care of it. But if they don't, I guess DRS Gaming won't just let them go that easy.
Absolutely, we're looking at 5 elimination points for the side of DRS, with all 4 players still remaining on the other side for Venom Legends. We're looking at 7 elimination points, so a GG play being showcased from both these teams, and again the positioning that both these teams find themselves in is what is definitely helping their cause to get so many points for themselves. And on the other side is going to be Janmara, Soulless, as well as Susan, who tried to get from one compound to the next, but out in the open they're going to be caught off guard. Soulless will be going down, and it is going to be the Scarl from the side of Killer YT, which will get that point confirmed for themselves. So 8 elimination points for Venom Legends, along with 6 elimination points for the Real Soldiers. It seems like a 4v4 is bound to happen between these 2 teams, but who will be the one who will take that better half? Because again, we've seen Venom Legends again and again in so many different tournaments. They try and have that 2-man split, and that split could be the reason of their downfall. But with 3 teams remaining, this is going to be a close one between these 2.
I don't really know why DRS is not just taking it. They already know Venom Legends are in a complete split, because a lot of shots are being peppered from this team onto different teams. But as soon as that round, that leaves down to DRS only 3 players onto their heels, and if one gets to get the revival done, just the 2 players will be in the fighting stance. And it seems like Venom Legends, they're just hungry for all these kills. Whatever head they're trying to spot down, they are just not shying away to pepper any sort of bullet. Circle control is completely going into the favor of Venom Legends, and the DRS Gaming, if they can stop Venom Legend from here, this will be one good game for them.
Definitely is going to be working out for their side. On the other front, as we move on towards the players of Venom Legends, they are definitely keeping a very fanned out approach compared to the positioning of the real soldiers. They are very much hunkered down. So a couple of good grenades from the side of Venom Legends could very well be the demise of DRS. On the other side, you talk about DRS's rules, OG, who is going on to a completely different flanked out approach, and in that doing so, he's going to be faced with the one final player remaining of WGNRC, and that is where that one final player of NRC could maybe bring a little bit of trouble for the side of DRS. We shall have to see if that will be the case or not, because again, Venom Legends, the way they've positioned themselves, a very well fanned out approach, going to work in that team's favor. But now it is about who or which team is going to be trying to make that push. They are all in a comfortable spot on their bellies, but that's not enough, because the zone is definitely going to push you to take that fight. But which team will get the better half of that kill, we shall have to see.
Positions are being made, grenades are being thrown. Complete lull for last at least 30 to 40 seconds. DRS Gaming, Killer Whitey just trying to make a move. He knows that there are certain players from Venom Legends close to where they're actually trying to smoke out areas. This grenade can just be the detrimental one. Little life from the sides of NRC. Rules is the one, as you perfectly mentioned. He knows where the thing for Rules is. He knows where exactly the last player is hiding, because the crosshair is continuously hovering over the head of it, and he knows the second position, the player of the second position, that is going to be a void. DRS Gaming are not in a hurry. One grenade from Delta takes on Venom Legends, and this is the opening that DRS was waiting for.
Absolutely. I mean, he was trying to get that nade parade going on for quite some time, and finally that nade seems to have worked out in the team's favor. DRS get the better half of that perfect flaming showcase from their side, and this is the push that they were waiting for. With that, Panfry goes down, and he will definitely bring down the players of DRS as well, and this is something that was not anticipated. 2 players still remaining. Nightwing, amazing control from the before 9. It is going to be just ludicrous braving showcased with those 100 bullets in that gun, and this is where DRS's push has been stopped, and still the 2 players from Venom Legends, the elimination has not been confirmed, so the revival could very well be right around the corner.
This is where Void could have been pretty handy, right? It's a 3-1 split, and 2 players since has already been knocked out, so it's only 1 standing, and he has to give revival at any case. So from both the situation, from both the teams, for the next 30 seconds, I guess healing and patching up work will be done, and then again the opening will be waited for. But in all this situation, the one player
exactly right
brought himself and his team pretty close to where NRCs are actually positioned. 18% is where the team really has a very good chance. And again, Killer Whitey about trying to take the push, but as soon as they do so, NRC goes out. Venom Legends, I guess the other one, they can get this.
Well, this is looking like a Venom Legends game. No 2 ways about it, because DRS's players one by one are going down, and Venom Legends bring in a chicken dinner for themselves, and an incredible play. I was talking about this team in the first game as well. I want to see a good comeback from their side, and they have done so gracefully with 13 elimination points, total 28 points along with that chicken dinner, and a total damage of 2097. Perfect approach in this Miramar from the side of Venom Legends, where again, I mean, we have to give credit to this team, because this is the team that took down the
Definitely. We have really had a roadblock for a lot of time, and Venom Legends really